Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808 and another edition of Hip Hop Heads Talking Horror. Coming off the back of 2023, we have got today, it's the same old circle around Alaska Adams, Thomas Hobbs, Myke Seatown in the hot seats. How are you guys all doing? Alaska, start with you, man. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm happy to kick off the new year, and just sort of hunkering down for the winter months.
Oh, I like that. Okay, Myke, what about you, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Busy, but good. I'm glad to be able to connect with y'all. I haven't had a whole lot of free time as of late, so this is, I think, going to be a good use of it.
Yeah, sweet. I love that. Talking horror, can it ever not be? You know, Thomas, how are you? How are you, man?
I'm good, but as you can see here, I fucked my tendons up in my thumb through working too much last year. So I'm currently unable to play video games, which kind of sucks because January is the best month, but for gaming. But no, I'm good. I just interviewed Benny the Butcher, so I'm currently knee deep in Benny the Butcher music. Like I feel like the Butcher coming is kind of like embedded in my cranium. So yeah.
And we'll be talking about more butchering as well. There's a lot of horror references coming up. There's hopefully there'll be some butchering later.
You truly are a professional, man.
It's just the segues, bro.
The segues.
True. That was seamless. Like that was seamless.
They're not seamless. They're not. I won't call them seamless, but they are indeed segues. I'm trying to keep us on track because I've done the 4 5-hour pods where we don't, and I know that could be a strain on everyone's bladder, if anything. So, let's. But look. 2023 is come to an end. It's the beginning of Jan 2024 where we've had time to maybe I've been reflecting a bit more in depth in the horror kind of canon. I just want to get your thoughts, all of you, on really where the year stands for you. Coming off of what I thought was, I stick by this 2022, I feel is a banner year for horror, like all time. I feel there's some, although I know there's one person in this circle who hates Barbarian, I do put that up there quite high. I'm sorry, Alaska, but it is one of my favorites. Okay. So there was a lot of good stuff in 2022, I thought. 2023 for me, just so we all know where I'm coming from, it hasn't been a year of, like, I would say immediate classics as such, maybe 1 or 2 outliers there, but it has been a year for great, like, bants, pizza, mates, you know, those nights where no one else is doing anything, you just sit around, you watch a horror film with your mates. It's been a pretty decent year for horror on that level for me, which is a bit of a letdown from 2022, but still there's some highlights. Myke, for you, 2023, how's it stand in horror?
I think I'm with you. I think it was an okay year. I definitely agree 2022 was a lot better. There's probably about 3 or 4 movies from 2023 that I think will actually stick with me. The rest of the movies that I have on my list, I just thought were really good. I don't know that I'll return to them. You know what I mean? So it's a decent year.
Absolutely. Thomas?
I feel like all the best horror movies this year were foreign language horrors. Like, I really liked The Bone Woman. I thought that was incredible. I think that really nailed how, like, for a lot of women, just being pregnant can feel like a curse, and in terms of just how it changes your body, right? And just like, I think it really kind of nailed that kind of inner dilemma that a lot of kind of women go through. And, you know, I definitely saw my wife go through because she had this thing called cholestasis, which was kind of like a thing that gave her complications. So yeah, I really related to that. And I also thought When Evil Lurks, I know you're saying that you don't think there was a lot of classics, but I think that's a film we'll be talking about like 30 years from now. So yeah, I think when it comes to like Hollywood though, like I'm completely with you guys. Like I think it was quite a disappointing year. It just felt a little bit like style over substance, maybe. I do think there were a few exceptions, and we can go into them later. But I think when I think of Hollywood this year, I just was a little bit let down. Everything just felt a bit reductive. And, you know, I know we'll talk about this later, but I really feel like The Exorcist in particular was one of the worst horror sequels I've ever seen. Like just thinking about that film makes me want to I don't know, like get a crucifix and just like stab it into my cranium.
The thing is, Thomas, what we always will have as horror fans is, no matter how bad it is, the lowest bar is the Texas Chainsaw remake of a few years ago. So it's never, for me, ever going to be there, but it's still on that way down. And I'm sorry, Alaska, I know you have vouched for that film, and so have you, Thomas. Actually, I think on a rewatch.
I would take that over. I would take that over The Exorcist any day of the week.
1,000 times. Yeah.
Okay.
At least it's like funny.
Well,
like it's a laugh.
Yeah.
The Exorcist was just boring.
It's just boring, yeah, absolutely. We will dive into quite a few of the ones that you've mentioned there, Thomas. But for you, Alaska 2023, how are you feeling about it?
Pretty much the same. There was, about 2 or 3 real standouts, and then a couple other ones I just had a good time watching. Probably not going to go back to many of them, but it's like if somebody's looking for something, I'm like, oh, that's a fun one. If you're going to watch like a horror movie with your significant other or somebody who's like maybe not super into horror, but I'm like, all right, it was fun. Like, check it out. It's worth a shot. Yeah. I kind of find myself like leaning more into like almost like horror comedy. I was getting a lot more joy out of that this year than I was out of a lot of like the more serious minded horror.
I feel you. There was a few good horror comedies out there. I was thinking about, like, we mentioned 2022. I thought there's a lot of original ideas and original, for want of a better word, IP coming out of Hollywood, especially. But like, I thought 2023, not really having. There are definitely 2 or 3, maybe even 4 or 5 films that have got some really interesting ideas. Maybe they don't land they don't land it all the time, but they do have interesting ideas. So I was wondering about 2024, and I was thinking this year, I wonder if there's the crest of this wave is about to still hit us. Like maybe 2024 where there's going to be loads of original shit coming out. And then I checked out the slate, guys, and I've just realized 2024 is another year of sequels again. So I'm going to write these down, just list these out for you that's coming this year. And I know there's a writer strike that's happened, so I do think 2023 might have been affected by that. And what you've said there, some of these, I don't know how much it's been affected. So it could still affect these, but you've got my man over there, Alaska, Terrifier 3 out this year, which is
Christmas movie.
Already my little lad walked in and I had the Terrifier new artwork from Christmas. When he's got Santa's face, and he just ever so slowly just went, "That's really scary," and walked out. And I was like, that's him scarred for life. He doesn't need to say anything more. I know in 20 years I'll be dealing with that. But yeah, either way, Terrifier 3, The Strangers, that new shit's coming out, Chapter 1. Maxine, part of a trilogy. A Quiet Place's new one's coming out. Fede Alvarez is back with Alien, Romulus, and I love Fede Alvarez. Don't Breathe, Evil Dead remake. And then there's another Saw, there's another Smile, there's a Speak No Evil US remake, there's Saw, another Saw. There's a lot of sequels, and now I'm a little bit more like, oh shit, are we in for another year of just... I don't know what you guys expect.
Yeah, I feel like Hollywood is just suffering from a kind of dearth of ideas at the moment. I feel like everything is kind of trying to be fueled a little bit by what happened with the pandemic and COVID. And I think it's all become a little bit trite and a bit kind of like, I know COVID was only a few years ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago in many ways, like the pandemic. And I think what we really need now is like for studios to sort of move on from it and start to like fuel more different socio-political themes. I feel like, I actually really liked, I know you just mentioned Saw. I actually feel like Saw was one of the biggest surprises of 2023, the new Saw movie, because I thought that franchise was dead. Like that movie with Chris Rock was just dreadful. Like like Will Smith should have slapped him just for that movie, like for real. But like I liked how like they kind of rooted it in Big Pharma and like these like kind of people at this shady, medical company offering these cures, and then him getting his revenge on them. I felt that was quite a good twist, and I felt like that was a surprise. But yeah, I feel like, I think they need to move out now of the kind of COVID subtext. It's like when 9/11 happened, and for the next 3-4 years, every fucking movie had this like 9/11 subtext, and every critic was like, oh, post 9/11 movies, oh, post COVID movies. Like, I'm bored of that now, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
Well, that sort of kicked off the torture porn era too, though, right? Like
That's true.
Post 9/11.
Yeah, absolutely. Hostel all the way up to this year when you've got Thanksgiving. He's still around doing films. We will talk about Thanksgiving. I was just going to say, before we go further ahead, people here, the spoilers, there's loads of spoilers coming up. I'm sure it's all spoiler-filled talk. But yeah, just had to put that out there. Okay, so look, 2024, we can talk about how we're feeling about what's coming up. But maybe we start with some of our lists of that, just our favourites of 2023, and then, tie it all together. Let's start with you, Thomas. I've got like 5, but, however many, like, what did you want to talk about first?
I think I probably would talk about No One Will Save You first.
Okay.
Maybe some people wouldn't talk about it as a horror. People talk about it more as like a kind of sci-fi thriller. But I think that it's got an incredible lead performance from Caitlin Dever, the character, and I think is it Bryn Adams? I think the actress. I might be getting the two mixed up, but I think she's incredible. Like, there's no dialogue in the whole movie. Really, there's like 5 lines of dialogue. So I think to be able to hold a picture on your back for that long is impressive. But I just love that sequence when the alien is like in her house and she's like hiding from it, and it's kind of creeping around. It's kind of like all the creepiest moments in M. Night Shyamalan Signs, but just like, rather than them just being over before you can blink, that they're prolonged. And I think that some of the sequences in that film were, for me, fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed that film. I really did. I felt like it was an original major studio horror movie that I've kind of, I know some people were a bit pissed off the way it ended, thought it was a bit kind of pretentious, but felt like it had something to say. And I felt like it had some of the best scare sequences, like when she's hiding behind the fridge and then the aliens like fingers come up, and that scared the shit out of me. But at the same time, like, I was pretty stoned when I watched it, so maybe I need to watch it sober. It might be a different experience, but I really enjoyed that movie. I think When Evil Lurks, I mentioned it at the top of the conversation. I just felt like that movie was so gnarly, so fucked up. Like, when you see that dog eat that little girl, that reminded me almost of like the first time I saw Assault on Precinct 13, and a little blonde girl gets killed when she goes to the ice cream. It was like that level of shock, and I just felt like that film again had something really interesting to say about how kind of like, I don't know, evil can kind of seep into a town. And I guess the way, like, conspiracy theories spread, it kind of had these like really fascinating kind of parallels. I think Infinity Pool, I didn't love Infinity Pool. I love Brandon Cronenberg as a director. But I do think it had so many kind of ideas. And I think right now, like every other week, you go onto social media and there's like a million conspiracy theories about our favorite celebrities being cloned. So I felt like it was quite an apt sort of release. And I just think Mia Goth is just so unhinged in that film. Like, hearing her, like, just shout at people like they're little boys, and just say, being disappointed in people because they won't slaughter the local villagers. And I felt like that film was fascinating. I think the cloning stuff is due for like a huge kind of revitalization in horror. And I think that movie could set it off. I think over the next 7 years, you're going to see lots of kind of cloning stories. But those 3 kind of come to mind. The Bone Woman as well. Incredible Mexican horror. I look at it as almost kind of like the Mexican Babadook or Rosemary's Baby. And I just think anybody that's kind of gone through that pregnancy experience will be able to relate so much to it. Like, obviously I've never been, I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie where he gets pregnant. I don't know what it's like, but just watching my wife go through that experience and just like the strain it puts on a woman's kind of body and her mental health, and almost how it feels like you've got this foreign body taking over you. Like, it nailed those anxieties. Like, I thought it was so well done. I felt I had some really kind of startling sequences. I know you mentioned before that there wasn't a lot of super original films in 2023, but I think Talk to Me had an incredible concept. I don't think it was always executed incredibly, and I do think in many ways it was kind of a lot like It Follows. There's other movies that have come out and done similar things, but I felt like that end sequence where the girl suddenly in the game and dead and trapped, like I felt like that was such a incredible ending. And I think I think horror movies that end well tend to kind of stick in the kind of public subconsciousness for a long, long time. Any other things that really come to mind for me are probably, I thought Evil Dead Rise was pretty good. I felt like it was interesting to see it move to a kind of apartment city location. I felt like it had some, I felt like it felt like a real family. Like sometimes you watch these types of films and the family dynamic doesn't feel believable in any way. And I like the fact there's a J Dilla Donuts poster in the kids' room, and just I felt like it was a really good spin. I think Lee Cronin, who directed it, is a really talented director. He did this other film called I think it's The Hole in the Ground, where it was like this Irish horror movie, which was really, really good. So I'm interested to see more from him. But outside of those films, I think Sick was good as well. I'm not going to say that it was truly original. Like I'm not going to say that but I do think like in terms of a spin on the COVID stuff, I think that it did that well. It had some really great jump sequences. I thought the twist at the end was pretty cool with the parents being the dual killers, and because she sort of jilted her son because he had COVID and then he ended up passing away. I thought that was a really good film. I thought it was a great use of a central location. I guess Evil Dead Rise and Sick for me are great examples of horror that uses one location. I always love horror movies that do that. I think that's kind of a lost art in horror. So it was good to see both of them do that. But out of that bunch, I think the only two that I'll be talking about as future classics will probably be the two non-English movies, which I think says a lot. I think Hollywood, it's just become a bit stagnant. It's all sequels. It's all things that are kind of channeling stuff that we've seen before. I think a lot of the original ideas are coming out of Hollywood right now. So I think the fact that they're my favorites kind of reflects that.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that breakdown, man. Absolutely. Myke, how about you? Any films you want to talk about? I mean, some of these we can really all dig in. I didn't want to just stop us like talking about these. We could all, because a lot of these mirror a lot of my five. But Myke, was there any films in particular you wanted to jump into and we can dive into that combo?
I don't know that I have any that Thomas did not mention. I agree with the ones that he said. I was wary of putting Infinity Pool on there because I mean some people are real weird about what you label horror, and I don't know that I would even label that a horror movie. But if we can, I would definitely put that up there. I think it was just a really, really, really well done movie that I would put an absolute paycheck down that Alaska absolutely hated.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh no!
Every time I go to I think about watching it, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this.
You're gonna hate it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
But I want to watch it because you think I'm gonna hate it.
Well, tell me this, Alaska. How do you feel about, because Infinity Pool is a culmination of a lot of different things, I feel. There is, he's done a lot of different films before this, but there's also this massive wave of like rich, wild people wilding out. Like either getting their comeuppance in a lot of these films, Succession's taking it to one kind of family point of view, and then I think Infinity Pool completely fits into that. How do you feel about that kind of trope, Alaska? Like generally, like seeing...
I feel it's usually poorly done.
Okay.
I feel like The Menu, like people are like, oh my God, it's such a treatise on class. I'm like, it's fucking a horrible movie. And it wasn't even that interesting, like a discussion about class or whatever. But I really like Possessor. So, and he did that, right? That's the same dude.
And you like Mia, right? Do you like Mia Goth?
Yeah.
Do you like Mia Goth saying people's names in really insane, like James? For that has stuck in my head and ringing round and round and round. I think there's,
it's something on my list. I just never got around to it.
If you like,
either like I'll look at it, it's like too late at night to start like a 2-hour plus movie.
yeah,
Or, like a lot of times I don't turn on the TV until like 10:30. So it's like,
Yeah.
if it's something that has subtitles, I usually have to watch it in the morning just because I'm so tired and I'll fall asleep. And same thing with like a long movie. If it's not like a 75-minute, 80-minute movie, I'm not putting it on.
That's interesting.
So unfortunately, that limits my watching at times.
I think it's a lot better than Possessor personally.
Mm.
I did like Possessor.
Okay.
I didn't like it anywhere near as much as a lot of my friends did. I think Infinity Pool was actually a very interesting take on class if you're willing to, twirl your mustache and get very pretentious with it.
Yeah.
I do think that When Evil Lurks was an absolute sneaker film. I was not prepared for it to be anywhere near as good as it was. I think it did a really good job of making real people, because everybody was a fucking idiot. Everybody was.
Yeah.
I saw people complaining about that, and I was like, dude, what the fuck would you do if a big, humongous, obese zombie thing was just, you're not gonna be like, oh, well, let me logically figure out how to deal with this. No, you're gonna act like a bitch and you're gonna cry and you're gonna run and trip and shit. Like, the movie is really, really well done. And I'm a sucker for just brutal kills. I don't really care if the story's even that great. Just show me somebody getting fucked up. But luckily, the story was really good in my opinion.
No, really good.
Me too. And it had some really good kills in it. Like, oh my God.
That hatchet to the face, like early on, I was like, wow, we're in for something. The sound design on that hatchet hitting the face was amazing.
Yeah, there's been some great sound design this year. That was right up there, absolutely. Yeah. That thing you said there about real people and like these people are real. I thought what that film did, yes, it's urgent. Yes, it's fucking brutal. It's visceral, all that shit, absolutely. It's unpredictable and very mean-spirited, but it definitely builds the world. There's no need to explain every single thing. This is how it can be done really well. When he just screams "God is dead" at the beginning, and you're like, "Oh yeah, shit!" So this is interesting where they're building this world and how the authorities are just awful and can't get their arse into gear and just disappointment everywhere. And I thought that idea of building that world was really well done. Like,
and I think what Myke said about real people, like the two brothers, they just felt like real brothers. Like you really. Invested in that kind of relationship. And I loved a bit at the school with all like the kids that have been kind of infected by like the demon. Like that was just so creepy to me. Like it really kind of reminded me of like watching Children of the Corn for the first time or something. Like it was so well done.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I really love, I won't go deep into it because I want people to watch it, but I really loved No One Will Save You. I'm a fan of extraterrestrial films, but they're not done well very often. I think this one was done unbelievably well. It was creepy as hell. It's definitely a movie you can't watch while you're like working and shit. You have to be actually paying attention to what's going on.
100%.
But I won't say much more because that's one I don't really want to spoil too much. But one film that I really did enjoy, even though it got very hyped, and I know that when movies get hyped, it's natural for them to get kind of shitted on. But Talk to Me, I thought was excellent.
Me too.
It was another movie I did not expect to be that good. I walked into the theater off the recommendation of a buddy, and I was like, when it ended, I was like, wow, it fucking closed the ending off. Like so many horror movies ruin the ending, and then I pretty much erase everything that came before it. I watched a movie called Puppet Man that was pretty good, had a stupid name, but it was pretty good. The ending was so trash, I was like, well, fuck, I'm never going to watch that again. But Talk to Me, it ended so well. And for these guys to be brand new dudes to horror, to really not done film before, I mean, I think
they're just like YouTube guys, right?
Raka.
Yeah, it was so full circle.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Something not coming from the Hollywood system.
This is what I'm talking about. This is Australia as well. I think Australia generally has this kind of, this year especially, Talk to Me, that Australian kind of humor and brutalness has come through, but also like the Royal Hotel, which isn't really, some people haven't called it a horror. I call it a thriller horror. I love the Royal Hotel. I thought it was brilliant. And it is that Ozploitation kind of waking fright. That is more Royal Hotel. Talk to Me is this revamped And you know the best thing I think this does? It evolves that kind of Ringu grudge kind of genre and there's been a lot of possession in the last 5-6 years, especially last year, 2023. Evil Dead Rise, Exorcist, When Evil Lurks. There's a lot of possession. What I thought this did more than anything was we will kind of not do as many scare cliches like the, quiet, loud kind of things. Have some really emotional intelligence behind the writing, I thought, and then have this kind of seamless use of technology and nail that all teenagers are dickheads. Like they are all dickheads. Like when they all get their phones out in the first scene is unbelievable where the guy's trying to break the door down to get his brother. And he's like, why the fuck have you all got your phones out? And bang, he gets, taken
and I think it kind of nailed how like kids these days just want to be titillated by the most like disgusting shit on the internet possible. Like, I feel like, I'll never forget my like 8-year-old nephew. And he was telling me how like people at his school and these kids at primary school were like watching like videos of like Mexican cartels they found on the internet. And that was like fucked up to me. I was like, this is messed up. I feel like kids these days from a really young age seek out the most fucked up shit and make it their ritual. And I feel like it kind of tapped into that, really, really well. And it kind of, it was incredible. And I hear what you're saying about Australian horror. I think Australian horror really nails the family dynamic in a way that other nations don't. Like I think of the Babadook, but Lake Mungo, like all of these movies, like
Lake Mungo is so good.
So good. Like you just believe in the families though, right? Like you feel like, like the mum in that movie, like you really believe in those characters. And I think for you to believe in this outlandish weird game, you have to believe in the characters. And I think it really kind of nailed making them feel believable as a family dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. The grief in it. It's not like beat me over the head with like these heavy themes. Yeah. They're there, but they're intelligently written. And it has that, I thought that hit me straight away. And maybe it's how I was as a kid, but that fear of being embarrassed in front of your peers is all encompassing when you're young. Like I am, of course I'll do this fucking scary shit if it means, whatever. And then the way it plays on that, and it almost is, I was watching that thinking my top 2 this year when Evil Lurks talked to me are the most brutal shit. There was no Terrify this year, but it's up there. It's going, I think Terrify's made them kind of jump higher and higher into their levels of brutalism. But what you've said there, Thomas, they're finding brutalism every day. They're seeing it all the time. Like they can get it whenever they want, really. Yeah. So this has kind of pushed it to fucking making out with a bulldog, fucking toe sucking, like shit like that is not going to leave my brain, guys. Raka Raka, and you've made it this thing now where I will always think of twin these two things. And I just think it's very hard to use technology. Let's not, and I'm going to give it another stray. Texas Chainsaw is going to catch another stray. You're cancelled. That whole moment, a little bit of sick comes up in my mouth every time I think of it. And then in this film, they're doing it brilliantly. They're doing it like they use it like it should, like kids would use it, I think. But yeah, no, just that thirst to be seen at any price. I was like, that is scary. And there's a lot.
What's the weirdest shit you guys did as teenagers? Did you ever meet up with your friends and do like a Ouija board or shit like that?
I never did. What about you guys?
Yeah, I did Ouija boards.
Anything? Yeah. Anything come out of it?
I did Ouija boards. I mean, whippets were pretty weird.
What's whippet?
It kind of like very similar to that, where you're just like sort of in this other state for like 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. But that's interesting because Myke, anything from you? Ever do a Ouija board?
I never did whippets because I was a straight edge kid when all that stuff was cool.
Straight edge.
But I didn't do Ouija boards because I was like, this shit's not real. I definitely, there was a place in Conyers where I grew up called the Goat Man's House. And one of those things where it was like, no one will go over there because, people have died and little Johnny died when he went to go. I was like, dude, I'll go to fucking Goat Man's house. And a picture of me and my buddies made it into the yearbook of us at Goat Man's house. We're like, it's bullshit.
Nice.
And I'm still here to talk about it. But yeah, no, like, I totally agree. That was one of the things that I thought was so brilliant about talking to me because that was some shit I would have fucking tried. If someone was like, hey,
yeah.
this little statue's hand, you can see, you know, the other side of whatever. Yeah, let's go. I'm fucking down, man.
Yeah.
So it made sense.
They kept.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, please finish.
I was just gonna say it really made like I'm old and I lost my train of thought. See, this is what happens when you get to my age.
You should have tried more whippets. That's what it should have been.
Maybe I did do whippets.
Enough brain cells.
Maybe I forgot. Maybe I just forgot I did them.
Everyone forgets he does whippets.
yeah. It's part of it.
I think they really caught that vibe of like when you're amongst like your friends and you're all doing something. Like it could be anything. Like even like the first time you guys drink beers together, like somebody pounds a beer, like, oh shit, they shotgunned it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was that sort of like unbridled joy that I thought they captured really well amongst the teenagers when they were like all kind of like just all doing it, all going crazy. It was almost shot like a Guy Ritchie style like scene, like on that scene from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels where they get fucked up in the bar after pulling off the robbery. It was like that style of like euphoria. And then it all like just ends when that kid bashes his fucking head in on the mantle of the fireplace.
Fuck, yeah. This is callous regard. Like there's no safety net. As the parent now, if I was 20 years ago, as a parent, I'd be like, you've got the timer on. Can we have people on standby ready to tear them? Instead, they're teenagers, like just fucking callous regard. Don't give a shit, mate. I just like, I'll pick it up. I'm sure we are. And that's how they are. Exactly.
They think they're invincible. Like we all did that shit. We all did stupid shit. I mean, like everyone like, oh yeah, you can die if you do that. Oh, really? All right, cool.
I'll do it.
And it doesn't matter if someone tells you like a local place is condemned, you just go there anyway. Like I always remember where I grew up, there was this place, and you guys should Google it. It's the creepiest shit ever. It's called Racton Ruin, Racton Ruin, and it is like this medieval folly in the middle of like the countryside, in the middle of nowhere. It looks condemned. It's the scariest place, and for years there were these rumors that like Satanists would go there and do all these rituals, and it was like loads of people hugging themselves there. And I remember me and my friend went there once at like 2 a.m, and we were there, and like we heard someone approaching us and just fucking ran off. But I was like, why the fuck did we go there? But like when you're young, it's almost like you're testing those boundaries, right? So like when you do watch horror movies, you're often like, that's unrealistic. Like, no one would ever do that. But I think when you're young, that's the one time when you do the wrong thing.
And I think that's what makes this film so, you know, when you watch something in the cinema for the first time and it's like you've just seen something truly fresh. And that idea of is stuff like that, little wrinkles like that in it. Oh God, they nailed that. They did that so well. And even the bits like it's extreme cinema. There is extreme horror in this as well, married up with incredible filmmaking. The sound design's amazing, and the makeup, all that. But I was reading up, and there's going to be a sequel. Classic, of course there is.
Yeah. Did you feel like I know it was original, but I felt like It Follows did that better, like that whole kind of. I'm not saying they're similar, they've got different concepts, but I feel like it was definitely inspired by It Follows in many ways, you know? Yeah,
100% from that story.
And I feel like that is like one of my favorite movies of the last like 10, 15 years. And it kind of very much reminded me of that. But I would say that I feel like It Follows did that kind of concept, you know, teenagers passing on this kind of ritual. I felt like it did it a little bit better, but
yeah. I'm not a fan of. Don't hate me, Thomas. I don't.
That's okay, man. I could never hate you. I love you.
I love you too, buddy. I didn't really love It Follows. I saw it in the theater, and I was like, all right, it's a really, really, really cool idea.
Yeah,
but it didn't stick with me. I have been meaning to watch it again. But I understand what y'all are saying. I did get It Follows vibes from Talk to Me or Talk with Me, whatever it was. But
yeah.
I was more intrigued with this one. Like with It Follows, I was like, within 30, 40 minutes, I was like, oh, it's a take on STDs. All right, cool.
Yeah.
With this one, I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of interested in the end. I wasn't really interested in the end.
Yeah. I think It Follows fucked me up purely because, you know, like you're out and about, you're walking through the city or whatever, and suddenly a stranger just looks at you and you're like, there's a person looking, and then they start walking towards you, and it's like after It Follows, I'll never forget. It's about a week afterwards, and it was just like, Pretty obese old woman walking on the street. Now I've got no issues with her weight, but I'm just saying what she was. And because in the movie there's like an obese old woman who walks to her, and as she looked at me, she just went. And honestly, I almost shit in my pants. And like, I think like the great horror movies do that, right? They invade your real world, right?
Yeah.
And I think that did that. And I also think Talk to Me will do that to a lot of people as well.
Yeah, I think so. Mine was Hereditary. I remember leaving Hereditary around midnight, driving quietest kind of, and there was a roundabout coming up. And even to this day, everyone talks about Hereditary and there's Toni Collette and there's all these amazing scenes in the lamppost. Fucking hell, the lamppost. But for me, it's the guy who's naked, just grinning in the dark. And I think I've talked about this before. And he's just grinning. And I saw him on the roundabout, bro. I'm not even lying. I swerved. I saw him on that roundabout, looking at me naked. And I was thinking, there's a naked guy grinning at me. No, this is not happening. So I have those moments. I think Talk to Me definitely. But do you know what? This is the thing. I did a little digging. There's obviously going to be a sequel, may even be a prequel. A24 are going to rinse this. It's like one of the biggest hits. But the Raka Raka did actually, you know, when she goes to hell, they shot like the wildest shit for like 3 minutes and you only see glimpses of a little bit of it. So I'm so here for the Blu-ray extras. Like when they land, I'm looking for, so to see where they could have gone, hopefully informs some of their next choices as well.
Isn't it out already? I thought the Blu-ray was out, but I didn't know there was any extras on it.
Oh,
so
maybe. I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't actually. Yeah, maybe. I was actually going to talk about A24 generally, but I mean, we can go on to Alaska's choice as well. But I was just thinking, where do you guys stand with it?
Myke, are you done?
The only other one I would mention, I do also agree. I'll be quick, Alaska. I totally agree with Thomas about. I'm not sure if it's Husera or Husera. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but the Bone Woman I thought was fucking brilliant. I don't have children, but I can only imagine how much having children would heighten how good that movie portrays this whole idea. There was another movie called Clock that tried to do something similar, but it didn't really knock it out of the park. But The Bone Woman has some of the fucking creepiest scenes in it I've seen in a long time. It's brilliant. But the only other movie I would throw out there was, I don't know if you guys saw Tin and Tina.
No,
actually. It might be Dutch, but it definitely throws back to like old Giallo or old, like the really stiff, weird acting and like the what the fuck is going on and these little weird ass kids. I haven't really seen anyone talking about this movie, but I thought it was incredible. So if y'all like those old 70s kind of horror movies, I would 100%. Definitely throw that at you and tell you to go check it out.
I'm downloading it straight after this.
Yeah,
sure.
I love being in this little crew because I've not even heard of that one. Yeah, definitely would check that. On the Bone Woman, on Husera the Bone Woman, just one thing I wanted to say, and just to put it out there, yes, it is great. It is so informed by like the Babadook, and I get it, I get that. But I do think I have a bit of an issue with this kind of nobody can see what I can see trope. And I understand that's very much part of it. What I loved about the film is how they bring in them, you know, punk alternative lifestyles and they kind of shape it around that world. I love that. I just thought after a while, I was like, gee, there's so many good things about this film, but it is just that trope again and again. And I'm not sure if I'm a massive fan of it because I've just seen it done so well. Like I was thinking about the Bone Woman, thinking, what's it done that I haven't really seen before? And I couldn't really say it stands out. That's why it kind of missed out on my 5, but very enjoyable watch.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But really good watch. Still a really good watch and one to watch as well, the director. Alaska, let's go, man. What have you got?
I mean, I got a lot of the same ones. When Evil Lurks was amazing. Talk to Me was amazing. Like Thomas, I liked Evil Dead Rise a lot. But Thomas, I have a question for you. Did you see it in the theater or on TV?
Oh, I saw it on TV. Yeah, I feel like it was a worse experience on TV, probably though.
No, because I saw it in the theater and I hated it.
No, really?
And I said, you know, let me give it another shot. And I watched it on TV, and something about watching it at home made it more enjoyable. Maybe because it's like I live in an apartment.
Yeah. It's a film about home, isn't it? I guess. Yeah.
But the opening scenes were fantastic in that movie. That whole like the scene where the deadite just floats up in the air and the sting of the title card comes out is pretty great.
And when she reverses the vinyl and shit, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
I don't know.
I liked.
I don't know about that film. Is it just me? Am I the only
Evil
one?
Dead Rise?
Yeah, like I was like, this is the most kind of like it's like I said, fun pizza mates.
You said you didn't hear about it, or you didn't like?
No. I was thinking I didn't like it as much as some people are in this call. I'm just treading on eggshells right now. Look at this. I'm trying to avoid the mines. But what I was thinking, it's a great mates pizza beer film. Will I ever rewatch it like I do Evil Dead? I don't think so. I don't know if there's any like the kind of characters were decent. Yeah. But it was never. I don't know.
But I guess I respect the fact that he changed the setting. He didn't just do the same shit. You know, like I know you mentioned the other remake from the 2010s, but to me it was kind of like we'd seen that cabin before. We'd seen the tree coming to get her. Like it was very is good as the gore was in that movie, and as fucked up as it was kind of reductive. And I do respect the fact that he changed the setting and made this film almost kind of about the corruption of like the family unit. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know, but I get where you're coming from too. Like I know it like divided people. Yeah.
I respect the fact that he killed kids, dude. I know you guys are all parents. I'm not. And I know. And
I'm down with that. There's got to be real risk.
Some folks don't really like that. You know, I got a buddy that loves horror movies. He will not watch anything where kids die. And I'm like, I get it. I don't agree. Fuck kids. But yeah, but I respect the fact that he's totally just like, all right, yeah, there's children. And in most horror movies, we're going to have the kids live at the end. But nah, we're fucking up these kids. We're going to fuck them up bad on camera. I'm like,
kids.
Do it.
Fuck them kids. Fuck these kids. Fuck them kids. Yeah. No, I do like that. I like the outlook especially. But when Evil Lurks did it better. Like if we're talking about fucking up kids.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
That fucked up some kids right there.
When that mother's eating her kid's brain, his son's brain. Oh my god.
Yeah, when she's walking. Just when you talk about seeds, she's just walking and that slowly drives. I'm like, why are you slowly driving? Just go, man. Like this is my thing about when Evil Lurks, and I love when it's number 2 next to Talk to Me kind of 1A 1B kind of situation.
Yeah.
It does a it brilliantly boils down, you know, like when you have a massive thing happening, but it's in a small scale. They kind of micro manage it into this kind of small, and it kind of really conveyed like the big shit that's happening, but to these little people, if that makes sense. But and yeah, it's got the disease, COVID shit. Okay, all great. But the nitpicks I do have with it, the convoluted ending, I thought, but also like everyone keeps saying, you know, there's rules, right? You know, there's rules. And then the next second, they don't do the rules. I'm like, just don't say there's rules and pretend you don't know the rules. Or if there are rules, stop being habitual line steppers is what I was thinking. Like they remember the rules, but no one remembers the rules. And that's the only thing that wound me up a little bit by the end. I was like, Jesus Christ, someone remind them of the rules. But
line steppers are just idiots, dude. That was the thing. Yeah, I just thought they were fucking morons. Like they knew there were rules. It's not like they'd be like, oh, well, fuck the rules. I'm just going to do whatever. They would just, I don't know, man. They would just fuck up every time.
Yeah. No, you're right. You are right.
It's about hysteria, isn't it? And when there's hysteria, there's, you know, you can't follow rules. You just do whatever. Like,
Logic goes out the window. I was just saying, I mean, I agree. Like when there's hysteria, logic completely goes out the window.
Yeah.
You know, don't do this, don't do that. Like you're saying, why is he driving really slow? I think if I was driving down the road and there was a woman walking towards me eating a kid's brain, I'd probably slow down and be like, what the fuck is she
doing? What's happening?
Why is she like,
what's happening right now? Fair. No, that is fair. But also a good trope, and a lot of horrors do it, and this one did it really well, is just how to turn good people bad quickly. Within 90 minutes, how can you make this lead guy, and I think it's just a great device, that conflict, you need that conflict. I thought they just nailed like the main ingredients brilliantly. But sorry, Alaska, you were saying when Evil Lurks, you had Evil Dead Rise. What was the other one?
Evil Dead Talk to Me. I had Hell House LLC Origins, which I really enjoyed. I'm a big fan of the Hell House series in general. But I thought like part 3 was kind of like weak, but I thought this one was a real nice pickup. Sort of builds to like the history of the the original movie, like what led to the original movie. It's a prequel, but I thought it was really well done. It was really creepy. It gave me that same uncomfortable feeling as the original.
I love the original. That's an underrated movie, man. That's a good film.
Oh, it's so good. The original is fantastic.
Yeah, like I always whenever I go to there's a theme park in the UK. It's called Fort Park, and it's got this thing called Fright Nights. And for Halloween, they get all these horror actors, and you go through these mazes and get chased by like a guy with a fake chainsaw or whatever. Whenever I go through that, I think to myself, like, what would happen if one of these actors just flipped out and actually came at me for real? Like that movie nailed that feeling, right? Like,
can I just
that movie?
Can I just link that to my DJ Muggs story, where when I was talking to DJ Muggs, he had that same thing. It was around Halloween, and he said, I came out the maze and some guy came at me, and I was about to knock this motherfucker out. And I was like, can you imagine DJ Muggs getting scared so hard, he just knocked someone out, chinned them, bang, straight off. I was thinking Muggs would as well. He absolutely would. So those are no joke. Those theme ride things are no joke. Sorry, Alaska, what were you saying, my man?
So I was just gonna say, I actually went to one of those with my daughter. She wanted to go when she was like 8 years old. She was like, let's go.
God, no.
So it was like, I've been to those things before. I always just thought they were fun, but it was the first time I ever felt panic, because it was like, you're going through one where it's like strobe lights and fog. And I'm like, I can't lose this kid in here.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, it was more the scare of like, I have to get through this with my kid, and I got to make sure, like, she was having a blast, but I was like freaking out. I was like, get the fuck away from me. Like I was that dude. I was like, somebody would like grab me, fuck off me. Like just making sure I have this kid's hand.
Oh shit. Yeah. Nothing gets you back straight like that. Like, oh shit, I've got a kid. I've got to remember.
Yeah. I got to make sure this kid gets through. Yeah, it was like the sense of panic was so real. I was like, wow,
it really
is crazy.
It really is. I went to a football game here, and it got a little bit naughty at the train station, and I was with my boy who was like 5 at the time, maybe even 4. God. Oof. And he just said, oh, do you mind getting my cookies out of my bag? So I just knelt down to get to his bag. I looked up and we were in the middle of a football fight. I was like, holy shit. And the panic, God. Your back just goes straight. You've got one little being and you're like, get out. I'm going to get in the way of everyone to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, absolutely. That is
I'm running through people.
Someone put that in a horror film, please. That is a real horror.
But I feel like those moments where our parents like introduce us to stuff too early, like to me, like they're quite awesome moments. Like I remember my mum, me and my buddy, we would like sleep in the tent in my back garden. Like that, to me, that was like the coolest shit in the world when I was like 8, 9 years old. I remember The Sixth Sense came out, and for some reason she let us rent it, and me and my friend stayed up and watched it, and then we had to go out and stay in the tent at like 3 a.m, having just watched that movie. But like I look back now and I'm like, yeah, that's probably the reason why I'm talking about horror with you guys today. So
exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. Can I just add a couple more real quick? Sorry. Yeah. And I don't know if, no, you're great, because you got the good segues. I don't know, like I keep seeing like mixing, like I thought Renfield was really fun, except for Awkwafina, who was fucking awful.
I was going to say, you hate her, yet you like that film.
I like that film, but there's just something about her acting that's awful. And I think it's just like being a New Yorker, like she's like exactly. She's like the worst kind of New Yorker. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun outside of her. And then a couple other ones that I keep seeing like conflicting dates of either 2022 or 2023. But The Blackening I thought was fantastic.
Bro, let's go. I've got that on my list. Got it on my list.
Yeah. And Influencer.
I've got that on my list as well. Can we talk about Blackening and the use of Nas maths? I've never seen that. You know, when they start to do the maths from Nas's, I can't remember which song it is, but they have to do it as one of the kind of trials. And he's like, right, so Nas, and they have to recite the verse. I was like, this is the best like hip hop horror cross section I've ever seen in film. It's brilliant. It was so good. But I love The Blackening. Thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a good film.
And Brooklyn 4-5 was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Good shout. I actually gave up on that 20 minutes in.
Did you?
I've not seen it.
It was slow. If you stay with it, it pays off.
Really?
It was it also led me to this really good movie called The Ranger, which was like directed by one of the producers, and it's like about this dude. He's like a forest ranger that fucking just goes apeshit and starts killing people. It's like these group of like 80s punks come in and like they stab a cop and they have to go on the run. And this girl like had a cabin in the woods when she was a kid with her uncle, or her uncle had it. So they decided to go to that cabin. And it's just how those two worlds collide. But she also directed a movie that just came out on Shudder called Sacrifice Game.
Okay.
Which actually sucks. Don't.
Oh, you built me up. I was waiting.
I was really excited for it. So I just want you, if you go down that rabbit hole, and watch these other two movies.
I want to see The Ranger, man. That sounds sick. The Ranger sounds.
The Ranger's dope. It was really good. It was fun. And then
We Are Still Here.
We Are Still Here. No, I haven't
seen that. The guy that did
yet.
Brooklyn 4-5 wrote We Are Still Here, and it's phenomenal. It's another one of those super throwback to like the old 70s atmospheric weirdo horror movies.
Yeah.
But
I see that. I see the box for it all the time on Amazon or whatever. So I'll watch it.
Give it a go.
And then there's one more called Play Dead that I thought was fun.
Play Dead.
Yeah, it was. It's like it's 2022 or 2023. And none of these are great. Like this is a bad horror year that it kind of stands out. But it has like Jerry O'Connell is the villain. And it's basically like he's a mortician.
I did see that.
Yeah. He's like a county mortician, and he's like basically selling off like body parts of people who survive. And like, so it just kind of like builds into that world. It's kind of fun. It's not great. Like it's not something anybody needs to see, but it's just something that kind of, I was like, oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
More than anything.
I think there's been quite a lot of fun, like we talked about. So I am going to list these. Really good shouts. Again, a lot of these I hadn't heard of. So yeah, absolutely. Just reminds me, did anybody watch Beaten to Death?
Yes.
No, I want to see that.
It's worthless as fuck, but it's entertaining. It's I mean, it doesn't do anything.
No.
Nothing really happens.
No.
But if you just like gore and violence, it's 100% worth the watch.
Yeah. It pretty much brought me back to, torture porn kind of still is a thing at the moment. But it's kind of weird because we've been so kind of disconnected from torture porn for so long in my kind of tastes of horror. It's interesting to go back in and think, oh shit, this guy just made this for like 10 grand and just covered his mate up in shit for the but no, I just thought it was one of the best like kind of unique posters as well. I really like the poster to Beaten to Death, and just
what did you guys make of Scream like in New York? Because I thought that was terrible too. Like I was surprised because I felt like the previous Scream reboot was really good, but I felt like this movie was just like there was just something lacking from it, right? And it's just like the killers, the twists, it was just terrible, really. It was
so bad.
It made Jason Takes Manhattan seem like a masterpiece to me. Like it was that bad.
It was bad.
I mean, Cam and I were talking about it, I think, before anybody got on, but it turned me off to the Scream franchise altogether.
They're
like the same way, like
well.
the same way that the recent Halloween movies turned me off to the Halloween franchise.
But now that they've,
where I'm just like,
now that Barrera's not going to be there, now that they just have, the directors have gone, apparently the directors, Radio Silence and Barrera are doing another film anyway, like a monster film. So it's like, okay, I'm here for that then, maybe. But they've fucked up Scream badly again. It's just,
badly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the same dudes that did Halloween did The Exorcist too. Like they're just
that guy should just never make a movie again, a horror movie.
I really
again.
enjoyed him.
No, he really shouldn't.
When he was first around, he did really good stuff, and then I don't know what's happened.
He did,
I think the problem with the Exorcist movie to me was just how like like in the original Exorcist, what's so cool about it is they have those flashes, those shots. Like you suddenly see the dogs barking, then you'll see like the old man and he's got a funny look in his eye. Then you'll see the woman like in the Middle Eastern section at the start. Then you'll see the woman come by on a horse and carriage, and these quick shots build tension. And it was almost like he was trying to do that, and he would just quickly do these cutaways, but it was so trite and so obvious that he was just trying to channel what William Friedkin did, and it just did not work whatsoever. And I just felt like, why the fuck did they bring her back and then just blind her and make her like out the movie in 3 minutes?
It was really weird. I don't know if something to do with the strikes. It just felt so disjointed. I was like, how have they made this way? It's so disjointed. But
and where was Pizzazzu? Pizzazzu needed to come back. That's the real demon.
I know. That would be quite good, wouldn't it? They made, but who knows, might turn up in the others.
Well, there's going to be 2 more, I think.
I know. Do you think they might do? I don't know. Blumhouse, is it Blumhouse? Yeah. I don't know if they might pull that. I don't know. We'll see in it. But
it did well, man.
It did well.
It did really well. Yeah, it did quite well.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's deflating. Okay.
I'll tell you one
Yeah,
one horror series that needs a reboot for me is the Friday the 13th movies. Like,
It'll come.
Yeah.
that is
It'll come.
killing. It needs one so bad. Like,
Well, there's
They keep
there's
talking about it.
a series coming.
Yeah, there's a series
Yeah.
coming.
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be coming out.
It's 2020 this year.
What's that?
It's this year, I think.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
it's this year.
24 is doing it. It was the rumor.
Oh,
I don't know.
A24.
I think it's going to be on. I think it is. It's on Paramount Plus. It's the dudes that did Hannibal.
Oh, cool. Did you guys happen to play the Friday the 13th video game? That game was like
No, I need to.
so good. Like one of the best online games, horror games ever, man. Like it was so good. Like just the feeling of being Jason and just like killing everyone and shouting down the mic to them. Oh, it was great.
Okay.
Did you guys watch the Never Hike Alone Part 2? Have you watched any of those?
yeah.
The Never Hike
That's
Alone
good.
movies?
That's on my list because I never saw part 1. So I need to watch both.
Part 1 is good. Part 2 sucked.
Oh, well, shit.
It was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Part 1 though. Part 1 and Never Hike in the Snow both are great, but like Part 2, it was really disappointing.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we have to deal with this, don't we? All the time. I was thinking there's this.
But Damien Leone's thrown his hat in the ring to do the next Friday the 13th if there is one.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
And you know, years ago, there was a rumor that Quentin Tarantino wanted to make a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. Like,
I don't
that'd
know.
be so
That
cool.
would be
It would be
amazing.
cool, but I don't know if he'd ever do it.
Yeah.
Right? His 10 film kind of limit he's got on himself.
Yeah.
But he's super into horror though.
I mean,
He's
he
super into
is.
horror. There's like a series of like directors or people. There's this, I forgot. I'll find out what it's called. It's like a YouTube channel where people talk about horror movies, and there's like a bunch of clips of him talking about like Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, like all the old zombie movies. So he's like super into it.
Just one thing on Friday the 13th. I feel like they need to bring Mrs. Voorhees back because she's one of the most fucked up killers ever. I love her. Like, I like Jason, but I think his mum's the OG. I want Miss Voorhees back.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
Well, I think this series, she's going to be in it because it's about Camp Crystal Lake, like before Jason died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that swear. Oh my God, that swear.
Iconic. Absolutely iconic. Yeah, looking forward to that. Maybe TV's where it's going. Look at Chucky. You know, that's done really well. And it's a good watch, to be fair. I haven't kept up with the latest series, but it's a good series. So maybe that's where it's going to go. Do you remember when they did Rosemary's Baby remake? Like they did a limited TV series of that. And it was like, it was Zoe Saldana. What's her name again?
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, it weren't great. And I was like, sometimes, like Mike, I don't even remember it, but it's just like these things come and go. So I think no one really talks about Chucky that I hear about. And I think people should at least, that's a good show. That's a pretty decent show to watch. We talked about Scream and we reviewed it, by the way. So that is in the feed. We did review that. I'm not sure if Thomas jumped on for that review or not, but it makes me think of Sick and Kevin Williamson still putting out work that delivers. And some Scream didn't, but Kevin Williamson's still around. And I thought that was quite interesting last year. And Sick feels like it's aged really, like it's really set in COVID. It feels like it's been around for years.
Yeah.
It feels like it came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know, you mentioned influencer. Was it you, Alaska, who mentioned it, or Mike? Can't remember.
Yeah.
It was Alaska.
Influencer for me, bro. I had that like top 5 horror straight after I watched it. I was thinking, this is such an engaging horror film. It kept me guessing. It was like the character decisions were just really, like, it just made the film really vibrant, much more vibrant than I thought it would be. And I think is it CW, the
I
villain?
expected to hate it.
Yeah, I thought I'm gonna hate this, and then a few horror mates like, how you not watch this? You should really watch this. You should check it out. And I just thought, you know, Sissy. We talked about Sissy the year before. Thought this and Influencer and Sissy as a back to back will be a great back to back double header. But Influencer horror, it's. But then it also it's a bit like found footage, as in Influencer horror. Like it is reality and fiction, and we just put the filters on and all this, and that's an interesting, it's interesting material for horror. Like what's real, what's not real.
Yeah.
Infinity Pool being similar as well, like kind of dancing on that little line is pretty interesting to me.
Did you guys hear about 28 Days Later getting a sequel 28 years later? Like I found that interesting because I felt like the zombie is like in such need of being revitalized. Like it feels to me like, I don't know, like we're all zombies, like to TikTok and Twitter, and I just don't really feel like the zombie genre has really kind of taken that on. I know Romero tried a little bit, but didn't really work with Diary of the Dead, but I think it'd be really, really cool if the zombie was rebooted. I think it's time. Like, I want some zombies back.
Really? I'm all right
Yeah.
without them. I think the Sadness is the last one where I was like, yeah, like, okay, I'm absolutely here. But I'm all right. No, but it's a bit like Possession for me. Like, I'm fine with that Possession now for a while.
Yeah, but
Like,
I just feel like it's so ripe for a fresh spin on that genre. Like, I feel like for years it became a bit gimmicky, but like, I just hope that they do something good with that. Right? Like, I think that post-COVID, like, I know I mentioned earlier, fuck post-COVID context, but I do think the zombie post-COVID, you could do a lot of cool shit with it. Like, I don't know, maybe the zombie apocalypse is triggered by everyone taking the vaccine, or I don't know, some shit like that would be cool. Like,
well, there's something there. Definitely, people will watch that, I bet. So, did anybody watch The Royal Hotel, by the way? I mentioned it earlier. Did anybody watch it? What did you think, Myke?
If I'm being honest, I didn't love it. I think the acting was incredible. I would put that movie in the Saltburn category of incredible acting, but I don't give a shit about the story.
Yeah.
And when it ended, I was just like, all right, okay.
Interesting.
I just didn't feel like it went anywhere. That was my issue. Maybe I need to watch it again. Yeah. First viewing, I was like, all right. Cool.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that, because it's very much. Have you watched Wake in Fright, the 70s Australian horror?
No, I've never even heard of it.
What is it called?
Wake in Fright. It's one of my favorite cult classic horrors, I'd call it. But the Royal Hotel has the DNA of Wake in Fright, but it has. Have you ever watched Snowtown? Has anyone ever watched Snowtown?
Yeah.
I've tried to start it, but it was one of those too long movies that I started at like 11:30.
Snowtown is, you will feel dirty after watching it. You will feel like it's one of my favorite horrors and serial killer films. It's unbelievable, I thought.
I got a little bit of a scoop for you guys. You know, we were going to talk about our underrated horrors, and I chose Deathline. I don't know if you guys have seen Deathline. You know, the one on the London Underground, and the cannibals live under the station. Well, I was speaking to the director of that. He's such an underrated horror director called Gary Sherman, and he was saying how he's currently trying to get a TV series commissioned about Deathline, and that it looks like it might come to screen in the next few years. That would be really cool, I think.
That would be interesting.
That's one of the best films ever. To this day, when I go on the tube, I get scared when I hear, you know, just that movie fucked with my head, like, for real, like, so good.
That sounds like it should be good. I'm amazed he's still doing work. Fair play to him. Absolutely amazing. But just to cap off my Raw Hotel thing, and again, I don't know what people think it's not like a horror, but it has that what's behind the banter. That's what I loved about it. You know, when someone says something and it's in public, in a pub, and maybe it is to a woman, and the way it's said, and no one reacts, and you're like, oh shit, that was a bit weird what he just said. And is that not right? Where is the line of acceptable and harassment? And I thought that film teetered, and it made me really anxious. And I just really, really thought people should go out and watch that. There was one before I wanted to jump off into like any like little hidden gems that we want to talk about. We talk about best horror, not just films, but one of my best horror just additions was Swarm. And I thought Swarm, 7 episodes.
Yep.
Fucking hell. What is Donald Glover on? And is Janine Neighbors as well, the other person who created it as well, co-creator. That film, it's not a film, that series is fascinating. Fascinating lead character, the fucking rawness of it, the way it molds kind of Atlanta, not tropes, but like it feels like I'm watching Atlanta, or it's like it's
got the same kind of surrealism, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got a surrealism to it. And I just thought the lead character's one for the ages. Like I can't stop thinking about is Dominique Fishback. Jesus Christ, what a that's one of the most committed performances on screen all year, bar nothing. I think she's got like these tics that she does that are like almost like body horror at times. You're like, oh my god, what's going on? Like I know Infinity Pool did body horror really well, but this was also like little flashes of it. And Donald Glover just doing horror was something I'm absolutely here for. So I'm not sure if people watch Swarm or what their thoughts were on it.
Yeah, I
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Good.
It was cool that it was on Disney Plus as well, like next to goofy cartoons. I like that.
Was it Disney Plus? Oh my god!
I think it was
on Disney Plus for you guys?
I think it was on Amazon. It was on Amazon, mate. Wasn't it?
I thought it was on Disney
Amazon
Plus.
Prime for us.
Do you know what's on Disney Plus? Atlanta's on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can tell I'm smoking too much weed. My bad.
They all seem the same. No, but that it's true that when it was readily available to binge watch. Did anybody watch Bootsy Collins's show as well on Amazon? Like, there's all these things coming out where I was
Virgo?
like, what was it called again?
I Am a Virgo.
Yes, I Am a Virgo. Did you watch that?
I didn't love that. I didn't love it. It's one of those shows where it's like, it started to feel like it's a bit too weird. And I like weird shit, but it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't do nearly enough drugs for this to be entertaining for me.
yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I need to do more drugs to enjoy this. And here comes Alaska with the
Boots
whippets.
Riley, right?
But did I say Bootsy Collins?
You said Bootsy Collins.
I knew what you meant. I wasn't going to do you like that. I wasn't going to.
But I had to look it up because I was like, wait, what is he talking about?
Yeah, I was a bit like that. That'd be cool though if like P-Funk innovators made horror. I'd love that.
Come on, maybe that's what we're missing. But that's what happens when you have the whippets and the weed together before the show. That's what happens. You start calling Boots Riley, Bootsy Collins. But yeah, but imagine the coup. That would have been very different with the. But either way, let's. But that was Swarm was quite an interesting TV show. But I wanted to just bring something to you guys. One of the things in the show is that anyone who disses her like favorite artist, she just has to kill him. So when they have a go at her artist, she just kills them. There's no fucking about. Fuck the kids. She's killing them. What hip hop take would take you to kill someone is what I wanted to ask. Is there a take where you'd be like, well, no, that's clearly false, or like you would at least get your back up about? Is there any take and take your time to ruminate?
When someone says that Doom is overrated, I'm like, all right, kill you tomorrow, that's fine.
I'm ready to kill someone when they say that. Also, when people say Tupac wasn't lyrical, that's one of the biggest tropes.
Yes.
Like I do not like that trope. I think it's so like rooted in East Coast elitism and just a lie. You know, that's like saying Marvin Gaye wasn't lyrical. Shut the fuck up.
Alaska, you got any? Let me guess, Tupac was not lyrical.
No, but I'm just going to be quiet about that one.
Yeah.
As an East Coast elitist. That the Lost Boys were a good group. That gets me pissed off.
the Lost Boys catching a stray as well. Like, what? Did anybody really overhype them? Did they?
I didn't expect to hear
in New York
that today.
they did.
Yeah,
really.
In New York they did.
Oh, okay. That's a bit of insight. I never knew they were that hyped. I knew they were. I mean, they're decent though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay,
that's fine.
They're fine.
Yeah,
they're
like
fine.
Ellen House Scratch.
Oh no, one more. When people say Eminem's Relapse is a bad album, that annoys me.
Yep,
that's a classic. I'm just going to put out a hot take. That's Eminem's best album, like,
bro.
sure.
I was with you for years. Honestly, I'm not joking. I was like, Relapse. I would say Sugar Corn lyric is one of my favorite lyrics of all time. It's all, even though it's Eminem, it is one of my favorite lyrics. I'll make the kid suck on a suck on a sugar corn. Come on, I do that to my kid today. It's amazing. I will very much vouch for that. And
maybe don't tell your kid about the fucking people with an umbrella and opening it up inside of them line.
There's a limit.
There's a limit.
There's a limit. Yeah, there is a limit. Absolutely. So, okay, 2023, we've kind of digged into some of the others. I'll just list a few for people who may not have checked some of these, but I thought 15 Cameras was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is that part of that's a series, right? 13 Cameras. Are they good? I've never watched them.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, you got to watch the other ones. They're really good. They're creepy as fuck.
Bro, 15 Cameras.
Okay.
I went in not knowing it was a sequel, and it was fine. There was none of this... It was only afterwards when someone was like, have you watched 13 Cameras? It's like, what? No. That's why I think 15 stands alone really well, because I didn't know. And it is creepy as fuck. It's very creepy. I'm glad that got a bit of a take. But the other ones worth watching then, Myke?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're all really good.
Okay. 13, 14, and 15. Right, I will check those. Another one I had here, Birth and Rebirth, I thought was pretty decent. It wasn't amazing, got very hyped. I thought it was decent. I thought The Conference was decent I was really stoned when I went on Netflix and a new horror popped up. And I think it's Danish or like Scandinavian. And it's fun. It's just fun. And one of the biggest fun films we haven't even talked about, fucking Thanksgiving. I thought Thanksgiving was one of the most fun.
Damn, Thanksgiving was great.
it was just fun. It was like, I don't need to worry. I can leave my mind at the door and just have Eli Roth. I think it's always going to be pretty hit and miss when he just gave me like about 20 characters in the first 10 minutes. I was like, this could go either way right now. Because
aren't they making a new Hostel movie? Did I hear that? Like,
are they?
Not Hostel. Yeah, I hear they're doing that.
It can't be Eli Roth. I'll be interested to see what Eli Roth does after this, because it's probably his best film. I can't imagine him going backwards now. But
the only thing about Thanksgiving that annoyed me was at the end when you found out that Gina Gershon was pregnant, because she's like 62 years old. And I couldn't suspend my disbelief on that one.
What happened here? Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But what was it? The Black Friday play was great. Like, yes, it's 10, 15 years old. Like, everyone knows how crazy Black Friday is. But I thought the way they still did it, and spoiler alert, how it turned the main guy, it was amazing.
By the way, it's not a movie, but one thing I want to shout out is Alan Wake 2, because I think Alan Wake 2 is like one of the best horror survival games I've played in a long, long time. And it kind of, it very much is like the best X-Files Twin Peaks episode as a video game. So I think that definitely blurs the line between gaming and cinema. I'd very much recommend playing that too. Yeah,
I need to get on the gaming, man. How are you gaming as a dad? Fair play to you. I don't know. That's a miracle to me.
I've got to do it.
Can I add 2 quick points?
Absolutely, Alaska.
One, to Thomas, you brought up like a decent zombie movie. Have you seen Little Monsters?
Oh yeah, with the school and the teachers and all the kids. Yeah, it's really
I thought that was a fun zombie one. And then, with regards to Thanksgiving horror, there's a movie called The Pilgrim.
Oh,
that's pretty
I've not
good.
seen that.
Yep.
Is it as good as Blood Rage? Because Blood Rage is the best Thanksgiving horror.
I've never seen Blood Rage.
You've never? Please watch. Please watch that. You don't need to wait till Thanksgiving.
As good as the McPherson tape.
McPherson tape.
Have you seen that?
No.
Where that family get abducted by aliens on Thanksgiving. It was part
I've never seen that. Is that like a found footage one? That's
it's
like
a found footage. So it came out the same year as the Blair Witch. And when I was a kid, I'm like, this shit's true. This family got abducted. I watched it recently. It hasn't aged well. Damn, that film was bad. But yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Have you guys seen the Poughkeepsie tapes?
I love that.
Oh
no.
It's fucked up. Fucked up, guys.
It's
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like it's near where I grew up too. Like Poughkeepsie's like 30 minutes from where I grew up. So
bro.
It always fucks with me because it's like, oh wow. I mean, I know it's obviously fake, but it just it's close to home.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. What the other ones I had here, just for people who may want to check a few other ones. The third Saturday in October, another part of a series, I gather. I think it's a sequel. Really good, bad horror. The Wrath of Becky, another fucking sequel. And
that was great, yeah.
I enjoyed that. Is it Slaughterhouse with... Slaughterhouse. That is... kind of mad, but kind of fun. Like, really just fun. A killer sloth in a sorority. What more do you need?
Yeah, that's going to be a thing for a while, I think. The whole after Cocaine Bear, they're going to just start running with it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're supposed to be doing Cocaine Shark.
Oh my gosh. Cocaine Tail was so bad.
Slaughterhouse, but if you like the animal horror thing, watch Zombievers. Zombievers is actually really, really, really well done.
Is it? Okay. Zombievers.
What about Velocipaster?
the poster alone for Velocipaster.
Okay.
Watch the preview for that. I Eloise and I have been talking about watching because the preview is so insane.
I'm going to watch
it. So Velocipaster and Lamageddon.
Lamageddon. I'm never. That's too much. That's too far. Come on, let's not. But yeah, guys, we thought we'd end with just a hidden gem recommendation from people for like horrors that maybe have gone a bit under the radar. If you can sell it to us, like why we should watch it. Thomas, you said Deathline. Was there anything more that you wanted to kind of dip in on that film?
No, I'm going to definitely say Deathline for sure. I feel like it's a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest horror movies of the 1970s. It's about this conservative politician goes missing while catching a train on the London Underground. And it turns out there's this network of cannibals that live underneath it. And for years, they've been kind of like, stealing tourists from above ground. But when it comes to a message about class, I don't think there's many better horror movies than that. And Hugh Armstrong, he's the actor that plays like the main cannibal. Like his transformation is just unbelievable. Like I don't think like he's eating human beings, yet you still feel sorry for him, which is kind of crazy. But I think it's just got such a kind of look to it. It really, and there's this bit like when I don't know if you guys have, obviously you have Cam, but the guys in America, I don't know if you've been on the London Underground, but there's this thing where like this announcement comes up and it's like mind the doors, and like that's the only phrase he's heard because that's what constantly plays on the tube. So he always goes mind the doors, and he's like that phrase to this day. If I hear that when I'm on the fucking Underground, I shit myself almost. But I think that is a great movie. And I think also just anything with Donald Pleasance in. I think Donald Pleasance, he plays this kind of quite this cocky Cockney detective, and he's just so fantastic. I think obviously people talk about Halloween, but I would say that he's better in this than he is in any of the Halloween movies. He's just so much fun, and just I think right now in this country, like the Tories have destroyed this country. So to watch a movie where a Tory gets ripped into pieces by a cannibal is very cathartic as well. So I'd recommend it.
Absolutely. That's what you lead with. If anybody says, why should I watch this film? Well, Tories get killed in it. Oh, okay, cool. Let's go. It's for people who are in America. Look up Tories and you'll see what I mean.
Have you guys all seen it? Like, it's so good.
I have seen it.
No, I've never even heard of it before.
It's quintessentially British as well. So I'm interested to see how it's traveled like around the world. Like how it's done, because I think in England you kind of grow up knowing that's a little English cult classic. But yeah, great shout. Myke, did you have any kind of recommendations for us?
The only other one I was going to throw out there is because y'all like comedy horror way more than I do. That's not really my thing, but I watched a movie called Totally Killer.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I was gonna cut in when Alaska was talking to say that you should definitely give that one a go, because I think you would.
It's a good one, yeah.
Oh, you already saw it? Okay.
Yeah. Sally Draper. Isn't that Sally Draper from Mad Men, right?
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's decent. It's okay. Again, just fun, and maybe that's what this year needs to be. Is we talk? Remember in 2023 wrap up, we were talking about 2022 wrap up. We're talking about how it's nice to not have the elevated horror kind of pounded down on our shoulders, and this year feels a bit like, oh, maybe people are just having fun again. Let's see where 2024 takes us. But Alaska, did you have any hidden gem or any other recommendations you want to throw us?
I guess like a couple like more recent hidden gems that really I really enjoyed. I really liked Myke put me onto this one, Black Coat's Daughter.
Oh, so good.
Also with Sally Draper.
Yep.
That movie was fucking amazing.
So good.
Sorry, what's that called again?
Black Coat's Daughter.
No, I haven't.
Black Coat's Daughter.
Oh, okay.
It started out as being called February before they changed the name. So I don't know if you can find it by one of those names.
Okay.
But it's fucking, I think it's great.
It's really fucking good. And then The Invitation.
The Invitation is
a good movie.
The Invitation is. I rewatched it over Halloween. And it's still so good. It's still so good.
The ending is just like one of those movies where the ending just like fucks you up.
You know the bad guy in that, and I'm sure he's done I think he was in Tree May. He was in David Simon's Tree May, I'm pretty sure, but he's not done much stuff. And I was like, why hasn't he done more things? He's great. He's a great bad guy. Yet they have
he's really good.
Who's one of the best character actors. I don't even know his name, but if anyone's watched Zodiac, David Fincher's Zodiac, he is like the lead suspect, but he's also in The Invitation, and he's fucking great as well. I'm like, this is stacked for some of the
John Carroll Lynch. He was the husband in Fargo.
John Carroll Lynch, the husband in Fargo. Yeah, he's brilliant. I love him.
And he also plays the guy who created McDonald's in that movie,
the founder.
Batman. And
the founder. Yeah, he does.
Are you talking about the 2015 Invitation or the one?
Yes, the 2015 one.
There was another one that was asked, and I was
no.
I was like, oh yeah, it's great. And I was like, wait a minute, there was a really shitty one.
Oh, was there?
No.
We're not talking about that one where the girl's like a vampire or some goofy shit.
No.
Just very quickly, what would you say is your favorite kill of the 2023?
That's a good shout. Favorite kill.
Ooh.
Do you know which one I liked? Have you watched Dark Harvest?
Yeah.
Dude, don't spoil it. I literally paused it to do this. I have
No.
20 minutes left.
Okay, I'm
but
going to stop.
the fucking kills so far are A1.
Yeah, there's some really good kills
and
in
no
Dark
one's
Harvest.
talking about this film at all.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna have to watch this.
That's a new Halloween like classic in inverted commas, if you know what I mean. That you can throw that on any Halloween now. It's a very good Halloween.
I have 20 minutes left.
Okay, I will not spoil it, but one of my favorite kills comes from that. But anybody else has some favorite kills? Great question, Thomas.
Cam, you can say the kill, but I mean, I don't care about that.
No. I was just going to say generally, there's some great ones, but
I like it in the new Saw when he sucks that fucking guy's eyeballs out. I thought that shit was cool. I love that. Like I thought there was some good kills in the new Saw.
I've not watched it.
Yeah,
not watched
either.
I'm not into the Saw, but I've heard this new one's good, so maybe I should.
It is. I promise you, it's a good film. I'm shocked. I thought it'd be arse, but it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I watched all of them this summer, preparing for it, and then never saw it.
Oh no. I think could you really look past? I'm looking at my top 10 here. And the first one that comes to mind is the hatchet to the face when evil lurks.
Yep.
Like, are you looking past that kill? Like that kill is at all the
when the dog gets that girl,
all the girl.
well.
And do you know what I love about that is the editing, like the filmmaking, like editing. You know, you're gonna see it, but when is it? You know you're gonna see it, but when is it? That was fantastic scene. Yeah, great shout.
Yeah, really
great
was.
shout. Okay, cool. Well, okay, my hidden gem, I talked about this before on the show, but for people who might not have checked those, it is more for I think the UK listeners will know about it, but it is Dead Man's Shoes, because it is 20 years coming up. It was out in 2004, so yeah, 20 years coming up for it. Just one of my favourite horrors generally ever.
Classic.
Yeah, one of the best revenge films ever. And I think, especially if people aren't English or even British, and they look at, I think there's this bleak British working class like underbelly, and this is kind of like a Western revenge story set in it. And there are unsaid things happening in our communities that are just prevailing around you, and you forget as a kid, you just kind of don't care about
in the middle of it.
Yeah, but you don't care. Like that guy got bullied and he hung himself. Oh, don't worry about that. Whatever. Like you just hear these stories. But
it's a bit like Kill List. It's the same kind of type of film. It gives me the same feeling.
Exactly.
I love Kill List too. That's sick.
Kill List is exactly that's exactly what I'm
Kill
talking
List
about.
was really good.
Yeah, and I think there's this kind of there's the revenge story, which is great. There's some incredible characters, but also it is this idea of in your hometown, people do atrocious things. There's atrocities happen all the time, like bullying that leads to suicide, or it could be drug abuse or whatever. And this kind of completely nails that. But it's fucking funny as well. It's funny as well. So there's some really, really good moments in that. And I think I'm ready to do a 20-year episode if anybody wants to jump on that and do that with me.
Man.
If you guys watch it, then we could do a 20-year episode this year. And I think I'm going to dip back into the well again. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think, turns 50 this year as well. I think it's 1974.
Yeah.
So
you know what's crazy? The 4K like transfer of that. I thought it would be really trash because that movie's obviously made on such like shitty cameras, but it looks so good. Like I was noticing things in the background I'd never noticed. Like it's like I'd recommend like watching it in like 4K for real. Like, it looks so cool. Yeah,
wicked. Love that.
I've watched all of those movies a few times this past year, and I've really grown to love the franchise, like the whole franchise.
Even the one with
so weird and all over the place. Yeah, even that one, like even the one with like "Do Your Thing," cuz like I love it. It's so
that's like stupid. Frozen the fucking Saw. Do you think?
Oh my God.
That shit should be on. It probably is already on t-shirts.
I interviewed the guy who plays Leatherface in the one. You know the one with Viggo Mortensen in.
Number 2. Is it number 2?
No, 3.
3. Yeah, I rewatched that recently.
It's got some good kills. Like, it's got some good kills.
Well, look, it's 50 years. We've already done a Texas Chainsaw kind of episode, but that was about the more recent one. If you guys do want to dip into the classic and celebrate 50 years with me, that's top 3 for me all day. So that's another one in the books for us then.
And Myke, I saw your tournament video. I was very happy with your final selection. Speaking of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We should do one of those.
What's that?
I think we should. That'd be fun.
Tell me the tournament video.
It was a horror movie bracket.
What? How did I miss this?
But I did it by myself because I mean I don't really have a lot of people locally that are into horror like that. But that would actually be kind of fun to do with you guys.
Man, I wish you guys
we
went
could do like a.
I was gonna say, I wish you guys went the other side of the world, man. It'd be cool if we could meet up and actually like do the shit in real life.
But look, that bracket.
Yeah,
that bracket could be the reason. The bracket could be the reason. Let's just book some flights and get over there.
We'll rent like a hotel suite.
Where can we find? Oh yeah, imagine. Where can we find that, Myke? So where is that bracket?
Oh, it's on my channel.
Okay, wicked. I will check that definitely, absolutely. But yeah, 100% here for the bracket. Don't know spoilers, so I want to check how you've ironed it out. But yeah, no. Anything else coming up? Alaska, Thomas, Myke. Anything we can look out for from you guys?
Can I just add my favorite kill?
Of course, let's do it.
From a shitty movie, but the kill in Scream, where the girl falls off the ladder.
Oh yeah, that's a cool kill.
That's my favorite kill of the year.
Okay, that was. Is that? Yeah,
the movie sucked, but that part was great.
That part was good. Even, do you know what? That's what annoys me about that Scream film is the intro was great. I really thought we were doing something different, and then they fucked it up, man, big time. But there you go. There we go. That's how we'll end this. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing Maxine next, and if we can do a review of that, that'll be amazing because that's the last one of the trilogy as well.
That'd be dope.
And it's Mia Goth, and let's do an episode on Mia Goth as well. Fuck me, let's just do this once a week. But yes, thank you people for jumping on. Thomas, Myke, Alaska, anything we can look out for from you guys? What's coming up? Where can we find you and all that stuff? Thomas, what have we got coming up, man?
What have I got coming up? I've got a Benny the Butcher profile coming up, which is coming out soon, which would be really cool. And I'm currently working on an anniversary feature about Roller Coaster Tycoon, which is like one of my favorite games as a kid. So I'm currently like tracking down loads of architects and people that are inspired to like create, because playing that game like in 1999, and when I was a kid I loved that shit. Like it's so good. So yeah. those are the two main things. But yeah, wicked.
How about you, Alaska?
I put out a couple records this past year. I put out Pop Songs for the Apocalypse with Jason Griff, Structural Dynamics of Flow with Steel Tip Dove, and most recently I put out Satanic Panic with Ray West. And then I'm just, I got a couple more records coming out this year. I got the second Cargo Cult record with Zilla Rocca. And then this weekend, I'm putting down the final vocals for the follow-up to the Steel Tip Dove record, which at this point is called Until We Make the Unconscious Conscious. We will, damn, it's a long title, but I like it, so I want to say it.
Yeah.
It is Until We Make the Unconscious Conscious, it will direct our lives and we will call it fate.
I like that.
Bro, that is some food for thought. I'm actually still thinking about that.
I stole it from something. I forgot what I stole it from, but I read it
don't credit the source, man. Use it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm not going to, No, I'm not in academia. I don't need to footnote anything.
No, that you've been putting in work, man. And yeah, big up to yourself, man. You've been, well, everyone here has been putting in absolute work. So yeah, absolutely. Do go check them albums out and all that music, definitely. Myke, how about you, man?
I don't have anything to look for, dude. I have been so fucking withdrawn and pulled back lately. I've watched probably 20 times more movies than I've listened to music the past year.
Wow.
I'm going to try to get back to it. I mean, I think I did probably 2 album reviews on my channel the entire year, which is fucking pathetic. But I'm going to get back to it. I think I'm going to try to get my shit in gear and start being an adult and get back on YouTube as adults do.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I can't tell you what to look for. I guess just keep an eye on my channel or something, or maybe Twitter. But yeah, hopefully I'll get something out there.
Yeah, man. No, absolutely.
I'm going to watch your 1989 review with my kid. She's like a major Taylor Swift head. So
wow,
that'll be fun.
I think it actually went pretty well. I was surpurrised by how much I didn't hate it.
I watched it. It was really good. I thought it was good.
Thanks.
Look at that.
That was my favorite Taylor Swift review in a while. So well done.
Wow, we see the props are there. Love this.
Shout out Still Tip Dove as well. Like, oh my god, his beats are crazy.
Alaska, man.
Alaska, you've been revitalizing horrorcore rap. So salute to you too. Like,
Well, thank you, man. We actually have a song on the new record with myself, Prem Rock, and Fatboy Sharif, where we just rap about horror movies.
Fatboy is so. Do you know what's crazy?
let's
I've been wanting
go.
to write a profile on Fatboy for the last like 2 years, and like all the UK publications are just sleeping. They don't want to fucking say yes to my pitch.
Oh, man.
It's killing me because he's like, he's doing some
He's great.
outlandish shit. Like, I love him so much, you know.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need me and to be put in contact with him, let me know.
Thank
You
you,
might
bro.
already be in contact with him, but if you need to, let me know.
Yeah, 100%,
man.
absolutely. And he is going to be on one of these horror episodes, by the way, because he has
Just very quickly, have you guys heard of Angry Black Men?
No.
Like, they're just like, yeah, they're so sick. Like this duo, like punk rap duo, like they've got this album coming out this year. Oh my God, it's so good. Like it gives me the same feeling of when I heard Veteran by JPEG Mafia. Like that same, like I don't like
Nice.
same feeling. Like check that out. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I was saying Fatboy Sharif is going to be coming on one of these horror episodes at some point. Maybe we'll get him on for the Texas one.
Excellent.
And just do a bit of a roundtable. Absolutely.
Is anybody still alive from that movie? We could get one of the people on. Maybe.
Oh my
That's a
God.
plan.
Then I don't know. Maybe. Let's check. Oh my God. Don't get me started on that, man. I've got so many plates spinning, but I'm ready to do that. But yeah, well, that's it. That's the show. Brilliant. Thank you guys for all the time, passion, insight, recommendations. I've got so many more films now to watch. Can't wait. And yeah, we will link up again at some point and just chop it up again. Absolutely. Maxine, maybe that's the next one. I think that's out on the calendar year. So maybe that's the one. But yeah, peace. Much love. Peace.
It's always a pleasure.
Hey, guys.
Love you guys.
Everyone.
Have a good year.
Peace.
Good seeing
Take care,
y'all.
man.